So under activity planning, the main part is activity on arrow network. How to construct activity on arrow, activity on node network. How to construct activity on arrow network. These two are main things. First, we shall see how to construct activity on node network. That is also known as precedence network. So some rules we have seen. Only one start must be there, only one end, and each node must have a duration, and the links should not have any duration, and precedence or the immediate preceding activities. There is no other prerequisite for that, and time moves from left to right, and the network should not have any loop and no dangles. So these are the constraints we have seen already. And this is one sample precedence network, and each node is having these parts. 7 values are to be represented in each node: earliest start, earliest finish, latest start, latest finish, then float value. So these are the things we have to mention on that. Duration by default given as per the activity list. So that is the input. Activity name and duration are input, and remaining things we have to construct. So how do we avoid loops and how to avoid dangles? So all these we have seen as an example. And the lagged activities can also be represented, but normally for these examples we will not be using this lagged activities. So first, in forward pass, we'll be filling earliest start and earliest finish date. And then in backward pass, we'll be filling latest start and latest finish. So this is one sample example. Totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 activities are there. So for each of these activities, duration is mentioned: 6, 4, 3, 4, 3, 10, 3, 2. So these are the duration for each activity, and you could see precedent. For A and B, there are no precedents. Directly we can start that. And for F also, no precedents. Directly F can be started without waiting for any activity to get completed. And C can be carried out only when A is completed. B can be carried out only when B is completed. And E can be carried out only when B is completed. And similarly, E and F can be carried out only when G is getting completed. C and D can be carried out only when H is getting completed. So this is the input. So if a sample question is given like this, so these are the list of activities. A to H are the list of activities in a project, and these are the duration, and these are the precedence for each of these activities. So if this input is given, how do we construct the precedence network, and how do we identify the sequencing and the schedule of each activity? And finally, we have to identify which is the critical path. Critical path means that activity should not be delayed. Without any delay, we should carefully complete that activity. So that is the idea. So how do we do that? Okay. So now, with this example, we shall see how to construct it. Okay. So first we have to construct the precedence network. So in this, you could see A, B, F. These are the starting activities. A, B, and F. These are the starting activities. Immediately we can start without waiting for anything. So I am drawing the network. Start. S represents start, activity on node. Okay, so now I am drawing 3 nodes. So this is node A, and this is node B, and this is node F. These 3 activities don't have any prerequisite. So now I am adding like this. Okay, so I am joining this. These 3 don't have any prerequisite. Now, after A completed, we can start C. So as per this, after A completed, we can start C. So I am drawing C here. This is activity C. After A, C can be completed. So after A, I am drawing this means in timeline, this is timeline. Okay, this is timeline. So C must be next, A must be first. So in that way, we should interpret that. Then after B is completed, D can be started. So here I can draw D. This is activity D. And after B completed, one more activity can also be started. That is activity E. So that also I am drawing. So B leads to 2 activities, D and E. Okay. So now F is already drawn. It is here. And E and F are completed means I can start G. So after E, I can start G. So I am drawing it here. This is G. So E and F both should be completed. So I am mapping these 2 activities as predecessors. E and F both are to be completed for G. And C and D are completed means then I can start H. So activity H I am drawing here. Both C and D. These 2 are to be completed to carry out H. So that's all. There are no other activities. So for what shall I do? That's all. Complete. Project should end. So if all these activities are over, the project should end. So now I am drawing end. G and H are ended with end node. So that's all. My precedence network is constructed. Okay. So now the precedence network should have these values on each node. So accordingly, we shall fill up. So earliest start, earliest finish. These 2 are to be filled in the forward pass. For that, I need the duration. So this duration value I must have. Okay. So first we shall fill the duration based on the duration given here. Okay. So we shall fill one by one. So I am marking on each node these fields. Okay, 7 partitions I am making. Okay, partitions are created. Now, in the forward pass, first we fill duration and then calculate earliest start and earliest finish. For activity A, duration is 6. You could see here. For activity B, duration is 4. For activity C, duration is 3. Activity D, duration is 4. And activity E, duration is 3. And activity F, duration is 10. Activity G, duration is 3. Activity H, duration is 2. So if I am making any mistake, then you can immediately tell me. Okay, so these are the duration input. Now we shall calculate the start date, earliest start. Okay, what is the possible time to start the activity? A, B, F, these three don't wait for anything. So in the 0th week itself, I can start all these. 0th week start. Okay, so earliest start for these three is 0. So when it will end, earliest to finish, it requires 6 weeks to complete. So I am starting in 0th week, means at 6th week I will complete this. Okay, and similarly for B, it requires 4 weeks. So 4th week I will complete this. And for activity F, it requires 10 weeks to complete. So 10th week I will complete that. Okay, so now the first line is okay. A, B, F, these three are over, and A is getting completed during 6th week. Then only I am starting C. So C earliest start is 6. Earliest start for C is 6. So when it is getting completed, it requires 3 weeks to complete. So 6 plus 3, 9th week, it will be completed. Similarly for D, B is getting completed means we can start D. So B is completed at 4th week. So only during 4th week, after start completion of 4th week only, I can start D. So D requires duration of 4 weeks. So 4 plus 4, 8. 8 weeks. And then after B is over, I can also start E. So E can also be started at 4th week. 4 plus 3, 7. So 7th week E can be completed. Now the second part, second timeline, that is also over. Now when C and D are over, I can start H. When C and D are over, I can start H. So C is getting completed during 9th week. D is getting completed during 8th week. So both should be completed. So only during 9th week, both activities will be completed. So I can start H only at 9th week. Okay, after the 9th week, only that period only I can start. So it requires 2 weeks to complete. So 9 plus 2, 11. This is for H. Similarly for G, E and F. E and F both are to be completed for G. So E is getting completed during 7th week. H is getting completed during 10th week. So which is latest? Only during 10th week both are getting completed. So only at 10th week I can start G. So now based on this, the earliest finish, like 10 plus 3. G requires 3 weeks to complete. So 10 plus 3 is 13. So now for all the activities, earliest start and earliest finish, these are completed in the forward pass. So forward pass over. Okay, in the forward pass, for all the activities, we will calculate earliest start and earliest finish based on the given precedent value and the duration value. So this is forward pass. Okay, now in the backward pass, we should calculate the latest start and latest finish. This is backward pass. So in backward pass, we should backtrack. So you could see G is getting completed during 13th week. H is getting completed during 11th week. So finally, when the whole project is getting completed, when all the activities are over, the total project is over. That is the assumption. So only during the 13th week, I can complete the project. So the total duration required to complete the project is 13 weeks. Total schedule. Okay, total schedule is 13 weeks. So now from this point we can backtrack. Okay, so now so for activity G, without affecting the end week, if I have to start, this means 13 minus 3, 10. Okay, so compulsorily during 10th week I should start activity G. No cushion for me. Now in case of H, okay, you just see H. H, if you see, 11th week it is getting completed, but I have time after that till 13. So I can postpone this activity. Okay, so for example, if example you are thinking that you are completing this in 13th week, then 13 minus 2 is 11. So I can start this even delayed. 11th week I can start, so that H is also getting completed during 13th week. That is the final duration for the total project. So latest start for H is different, but latest start for G is not different. Okay, same. So here, if I am delaying this 11th week, up to 11th week means latest to finish is 13. So I just try to apply this 13 here, latest to finish, possible latest to finish. So here possible latest finish is 13. So 13 minus 3, 10. 13 minus 3, 10. And here 13 minus 2 becomes 11. Okay, so there is a cushion. Now the float value between these, this float value we have to fill up. That is earliest start and latest start. What is the difference? Latest start minus early start. So 11 minus 9 becomes 2 here. Float value gives us a cushion period for which we can delay the activity. Okay, delay the activity, not the total project, only the activity. So for this, if you see 10 minus 10, so float becomes 0. Float value becomes 0. Now from this I am backtracking again. H is latestly started at 11th week, means here it is ending at 9. So I can even end this also at 11th week. So 11 minus 3 gives me 11 minus 3 gives me 8. So latest start for activity C is 8. Now what is the float value? 8 minus 6, 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. That is the float value for me. Now the predecessor for H is D. So here also I can end at 11th week. That itself is enough. 11 minus 4 gives me 7. So the latest start for D activity is 7. So what is the float value? 7 minus 4. Okay, is 3. 7 minus 4, that is 3. Now for activity E. Activity E is a predecessor of G. So G latest start is 10. So I can mark 10 here. By latest I can complete it during 10th week. So 10 minus 3, when should I start? If I could complete in 10th week means 10 minus 3, because it takes 3 weeks duration to complete. So 10 minus 3 is 7. So latest start for E activity is 7. Now what is the float value? Float value is 3. 7 minus 4. This is the float value for activity E. And from this I can backtrack further, next level. So if this can be started at 8 means activity A can be ended at 8. Activity A can be ended at 8. So 8 minus 6 gives me value 2. So I can start the activity at second week only. Delay. There can be a delay. And the float value is 2. This is the float value for activity A. And for activity B, it is a predecessor for D and E. So D can be started. Latest it can be started during 7th week. So I can end B during 7th week. Okay. So this can be by latest it can be finished during 7th week. So 7 minus 4, 3. 7 minus 4, 3. So by latest I can start during 3rd week. So the float value for this is 3. 3 minus 0, 3. That is the float value. And for activity F, so activity F predecessor is G. For activity F, it is a predecessor of G. So G should be started at 10th week. So it should be completed at 10th week, and 10 minus 10 becomes 0. It should be started during 0th week. So float value is 0. Float value for this is 0. Now the backward pass is also over. In the backward pass, we filled all the values, latest start, latest finish, and float for all these activities. Everything is over now. Now, we could check like where and all float value is 0. So in activity F, it is 0, and in activity G, it is 0. In both these activities, the float value is 0. For all other activities, we can delay carrying out the activity. Okay, so there is a cushion for all other activities. So activity F and G are critical activities. Activity F and G are known as critical activities. So the critical path for the entire project is start F and through G. So that is the critical path. So I could say this. So this path is the critical path. So using this, we can clearly identify what is the critical path of the project. Critical path is identified means then we should take utmost care monitoring the critical activities so that F and G should not be delayed in any case. Okay. And moreover, for H, I have a float value 2. For C also I have a float value 2. For A also I have a float value 2. Does it mean that A can be delayed for 2 weeks? C also can be delayed for another 2 weeks? H also delayed for totally 6 weeks. Can I delay for this? No. So if H is delayed for 2 weeks, that 2 weeks is eliminated from C and A. So in the whole path, I can delay 2 weeks. So that 2 weeks is occupied by only H means C and A will not get that. If that is completely occupied by A means C and H will not get that. Okay. So float value simply gives an idea which are the activities that can be delayed. Okay, it doesn't mean that each activity can be delayed for that period, that much period. Okay, so one time 2 weeks delayed means that is erased. That's all. In a path, one time 2 weeks delay. That is float value. Or we can share. A can be delayed for 1 week. C can be delayed for 1 week. In that way, we can share. Okay, but this path F and G, this path should not be delayed. F and G should not be delayed at any cost. That is the critical part. So if something going beyond our control means we have to allocate extra person, extra resources on that activity so that it can be completed as per the schedule. If I can uh, change the end duration, I have 15 weeks time, means we can adjust everything. So if this 13 is not a rigid value, okay, this 13 is not a rigid value, then we can adjust everything. Okay, but this 13 is a rigid value. During that time only I should complete the project, otherwise some loss will occur. We have to pay extra or something, some loss, profit will not come as expected, means all these must be taken care. Sometimes we finalized that hardware selection requires 6 weeks, system configuration requires 4 weeks, installation of hardware requires 3 weeks, all these as per plan. Okay, so based on this calculation we are finalizing that 13 weeks required to complete the entire project. 13 weeks required, but the customer is telling, is it possible to complete it within 12 weeks? So I have to backtrack the value. So I have to fix 12 here. So I just have to fix 12 here. Okay, and accordingly I should backtrack all the values in the backward. So activity F requires 10 weeks. So in this part, we cannot reduce it anymore. Because 13 minus 3, if I have to complete it in 12 weeks means it becomes 12. 12 minus 3 becomes 9. And F should be completed during 9th week. But F requires 10 weeks. How can I complete before 10? It is expected to complete 9th week, means I have to appoint extra people. Extra people should be appointed. Then I have to try to check the possibility of completing this during 9th week. Okay, extra resources and extra persons work on F activity so that I can try to check whether it can be completed in 9th week. So this is how the schedule and sequence is finalized by a project manager for any project. Okay, so one more time we shall see quickly. So one more time I quickly draw for the same problem, so you can quickly follow it up. Okay, start. So 3 activities can be started parallelly without any precedence. So I am drawing A, B and F. So it is linked to start. And after A is over, I can start C. So I am drawing C. So after A, C can be carried out. And after B, D and E can start. So D and E. D and E. These two are started. Now after after E and F, G can be started. So here I can start G. And after C and D, H can be started. So here I am drawing H. So after C and D is over, I am drawing H. After E and F is over, I am drawing G. And after B is over, D and E. So all these are drawn. Now final, this is end. So now we shall mark 7 partitions in each node. So I am marking the partitions in all the nodes. Okay. So first we fill the duration given in the input. Okay. So all these durations can be given here. A requires 6 weeks to complete. B requires 4 weeks to complete. C requires 3 weeks to complete. D requires 4 weeks to complete. E requires 3 weeks to complete. F requires 10 weeks to complete. G requires 3 weeks to complete. H requires 2 weeks to complete. So all these durations are filled. Now in the forward pass. So now we shall start forward pass. So in the forward pass, we shall fill earliest start and earliest finish. Okay, these two can be filled. So initially I can start these 3 activities. So earliest start 0, 0 plus 6, 6, 0 plus 4, 4, 0 plus 10, 10. All these. Okay, and next once A is over, I can start C. So only at 6th week I can start C. So 6 plus 3 becomes 9. Okay. After C is over, I can start H, but D also I should know. So I am waiting for that. So after D is over, I can start D. So only during 4th week I can start this. 4 plus 4 becomes 8. After F is after D is over, then I can start E. 4th week. 4 plus 3 becomes 7. And after F is over, I can start G. So for this, F and E both should get completed. E is completing at 7th week, but F is completing at only 10th week. So the latest value, highest value only I can fill here. 10 plus 3 becomes 13. Now here C and D are over, then I can start H. 9 and 8, which is the highest. 9 is the highest. So that should be filled here. 9 plus 2 becomes 11. So among these two, 13 is the highest value. Among these two, 13 is the highest value. So the total duration of the project is 13. 13 weeks is the total duration. This is the total duration for this project. Okay. Now, so forward pass is over. All these values are filled. Now we shall start backward pass. So in the backward pass, the highest value is retained for this. 13 minus 3 becomes 10. So latest start is also 10. Here I can complete up to 13th week. So 13 minus 2 becomes 11. The latest start for H is 11. And what is the float value? Difference between these two. That is 2. Okay. And if this can be completed, I mean, latest start is 11 means here I can complete at 11. These two are the predecessors. So 11 minus 3 becomes 8 here. 11 minus 4 becomes 7 here. So 6 minus 8 minus 6 float value is 2. And here 7 minus 4, the float is 3. Okay. And here it should be started at 10. So I can end it at 10. 10 minus 3 becomes 7. So 7 minus 4, float value is 3 here. And here, if this can be started at 8 means, and it can be ended at 8. 8 minus 6, 2. So latest start for activity A is 2. Float value between these two is 2. And here, so this is also starting at a 7. This is also starting at 7. D and E. So I can delay it up to 7. 7 minus 4 gives me 3. 3 minus 0, 3. Float value 3. And here, so this is to be started at 10. So here also 10. 10 minus 10 becomes 0 and this is also 0. And here 13 minus 10 becomes 3. Okay. Sorry, 13 minus 3 becomes 10. 10 minus 10 becomes 0. So activity F, activity F and activity G are having float value 0. So these two are critical activities and this path is known as the critical path in the project. This path is the critical path in the project. So this is how the project manager can plan for the schedule and sequence of all the activities in a project. Okay. Critical activities should not be delayed anymore. So this is how activity on node network work. The same calculation, same estimation we can do also using activity on arrow network that we shall see in the next class. Okay, so that can be seen.